So this morning we are taking a break in between sermon series because I have an announcement to share. Although I shared with you all back on Announcement Sunday in April that I would continue serving here as the pastor at Skycrest for another year, there has been a more recent update to my appointment. Starting January 1st of 2022, I'll be appointed as the district superintendent of the Gulf Central District. And you all will be, oh wow, okay. Thank you. And you all will be receiving a new pastor here at Skycrest. Oh, you didn't know that those things went together. Okay. So before I go any further, first I want to let you all know that this is actually not public until annual conference announces it next week. But out of respect to the congregation and the fact that I've served here for 9 years, I was given permission to share it with you all before it became public. That's why we're not live streaming today. And I really ask that you not post anything about it on social media or mention it to if you have friends at other churches or other people involved throughout the annual conference. I really ask that you not say anything really to anyone until this is public on Saturday. So during our time together this morning in the sermon, I will answer some of the questions that you might have, and my goal is to reflect spiritually and theologically on the nature of church and ministry and pastor. If you're new today, you haven't even met me yet, and you may not have as much of a personal connection with this topic, but I hope that if you're new and you're listening today, you'll get the sense that we are a family here, and we want you to be a part of that family, of that chosen people that we read about from 1 Peter that is being built together into a house for God. And I hope if you're new today, you come back next Sunday for a much more normal sermon. So first question you may have is, what is a district superintendent? So in the United Methodist Church, district superintendents oversee the churches, the pastors, and the missions and ministries in a region, and they serve as the missional strategist for that area. There are 8 districts in Florida, and I'll be overseeing the Gulf Central District, which is the 90-plus churches, campus ministries, and mission and outreach projects here in Pinellas, Hillsborough, and Polk counties. This is a full-time job, which is why I can't be the DS and continue as the pastor here at Skycrest. Another question that you might be wondering is why, and why now? The answer is that there was an opening because our previous district superintendent became the president of a seminary in Atlanta. And a few weeks after that announcement, I was asked to meet with our bishop, who told me that he had been prayerfully discerning that I would be a good fit for this role. And unbeknownst to him, during that time, from the time our previous superintendent announced her departure, I also had a sense that I thought might be from God, that I would like to fill that role, that I specifically felt called to help other churches, some like Skycrest and some very different than Skycrest, churches of all sizes and diversities here in our Gulf Central area. I really wanted to help them all to succeed with the common mission that we share as United Methodists, to make disciples of Jesus for the transformation of the world. I want to make sure you all know that it is not because I didn't want to be at Skycrest anymore, and it's not because I wanted a promotion. I would have been happy to keep serving here joyfully for the rest of my career. But I did have the sense that God was calling me to this specific role. Pastors in the United Methodist Church are itinerant. If you've been a Methodist a long time, you know that. If you're new to the United Methodist Church, you will learn that. We serve where we are sent. And while every transition is challenging for both the pastor and the church, these moves are made with discernment, and typically everyone benefits when we embrace the gifts of this connectional system. Another question you might have is, when am I leaving? I will continue preaching and serving here full time. You will have my full attention through the Christmas season, and I begin the new position January 1st of 2022. You may be wondering, people have asked, where will I live? And that is a good question. Not in the parsonage in Grovewood anymore, unless the new pastor would like to adopt me and my family of 5. We are currently exploring housing options. We plan to stay, though, in Mid-Pinellas for our kids to continue at their schools and my husband in his job. So you'll probably still run into me in the grocery store from time to time. My kids hope to continue in youth group, and we will maintain the family friendships that we have built in this community for the last decade. Next question everybody probably wants to know is, who will our new pastor be and when will we find out? So the district superintendent, we currently have an interim one. They will consult with the leadership board of our church about the qualities that we need in our next pastor, and they will work together to make that appointment. You should know more later this fall. The other good thing to know is that I will be attending cabinet meetings throughout the fall as I'm getting trained on this new role, so I will be there when your new appointment is being made, and I will have input, and I have no doubt that we will be able to find the next right person to lead this congregation. I feel really good about what is coming next. I know some of you will want to know, can I come back and do your funeral, your wedding, your baby's baptism, or provide pastoral care if you are struggling? This one's a little harder. The answer is that while I will always be your friend, and I'll always be your sibling in Christ, and I'll be your district superintendent, but I will not be your pastor anymore. Former pastors are able to return for funerals and special events with the current pastor's permission. So like if something happens on January 3rd, they'll probably still call me. There are some special circumstances in which I could still come back, but I would urge you in most cases to let the new pastor be your pastor. When I first arrived here 9 years ago and those pastoral moments would arise, understandably, people didn't know me yet, and so they wanted Michael or Fred or whoever the previous pastor they felt close to was, and that made sense because they didn't know me yet. But that also kept people from getting to know me. It was really when people started letting me show up in their lives at hospitals and gravesides and other holy moments of life that our relationship grew into what it is today. So I'll be around. I'm not abandoning you. I will always be your friend, but I'm encouraging you to let the new pastor be your pastor. I love this quote from an old preaching textbook that I have. It says, "To have a cure of souls is the highest task to which any minister can be called. To stand in the pulpit on Sunday and see the eager and expectant faces of people turned toward you. To know they have come for worship and for the bit of bread you have been preparing for them in the week. To feel as you look at them, these are my people. To know that in the great hours of their life, when they want to be wed, when a child is born, when trouble comes, when the doctor is going in and out, when bereavement robs them from every scrap of joy. To know that in that hour the door is open, and you not only may go, but you must go. That the cry of their hearts is for their minister. To receive the confidence of people, to know the secrets they have told no other living soul. To blush over them with their sins and exult with them when their sin is flung under the table. To know their private affairs and be the sharer of their highest ideals is to have a joy of which none of us is ever truly worthy." There are no other words that could better express how I feel about our last 9 years together. Being sent here 9 years ago when I had never heard of Skycrest and I didn't even really know where Clearwater was on a map is one of the best things that has ever happened to me. And here's the theological piece. This is what I want you all to know this morning. If you have experienced something positive from our ministry together, or from any church or pastor. If you have grown in your faith, if you have learned something, if you have felt comfort in a dark time, if you have ever confessed something and felt forgiveness, sought help and found it, if you have been challenged to serve or lead or give, if you have felt anything real in a spiritual ultimate sense, that was bigger than me or any pastor. That was God at work. And nothing would make me happier, nothing would be a better farewell present than for you to stay active in your faith and in your church, even as pastors come and go. When the time comes, I want you to connect with your new pastor and get connected beyond the pastor. Get in a group, get involved, serve in our ministries, get so connected to God, to others, and to the world that pastors can come and go, but that you all are being built, like those verses I read from 1 Peter, that you all are being built into something bigger than any one person. I love how he described it like stones. You're not rocks just sitting there passively listening to the person talking up front. No, it describes you as living stones being built into a house for God to dwell. Final thing I want to say is that I would have never felt comfortable accepting this opportunity if it were not for the fact that I am leaving you in the extraordinarily capable hands of our staff and our leadership board. Your leaders here, every one of them are overqualified, over-talented, and they are passionate about the mission of our church. We truly do not deserve them, but God has placed these people here for a time such as this to see what God can do. So we have 6 months left together. COVID is hopefully declining day by day and week by week. Fall and winter are always really exciting times for us as we welcome back our snowbirds, our seasonal community, as they return to their Florida home. I ask for us to make this our strongest season yet. And then when January 1st comes, you all just keep on going, and I'll be nearby cheering you on.